Shalom, my name is Yehoshua ben Avraham. I'm making this video from Jerusalem, and it comments upon the earlier video, Jerusalem Communist Media Blocks publication of the local racism. Well, things have moved very much farther along, and this is the story. In America, I had a net worth of $35–40 million when I received, thank God, to come up to Israel and serve the Jewish people and nation. I had a series of 3 dreams. I went to a very big rabbi. He said, "You're going up to Israel." Didn't ask any questions. Those 3 dreams were over a period of about 2 years. I sold my house, packed up a 9-room content of the house, put it in a lift, shipped it to Israel. They stole it. They tried to suck me into Isragate to steal world-class intellectual property. So I learned fast that the curse of my life was having an Iraqi oil well, owning an Iraqi oil well in my mind, and the persecution that follows. Let's put some things in the context. Zionism was communism. Zionism is no more, it's collapsed, but communism still exists. They have assaulted me, they've stolen my property, my name and honor, put me through all manner of trial and tribulation. We've lived in sewers and dumps that I've had to physically work with my hands and break my back to make livable. We had a magnificent 9-room house, $750,000 property. Now with the real estate following, it's probably 25% or more, 50% less than that, who knows what. Anyway, in these 22 years in Israel, it has been an extraordinary test. I received that the Jewish people needed a leader, and that as the leader of the North American Jewish community, having been the author of Humanomics, which is the post-collapse of the local reality globally, and its 2 paradigms, receive and to give, which is the central organizing principle, which is the new cognitive behavioral science first principle, and the integration of labor, which is the new economic paradigm. I was to come up to Israel and build, because there was going to be some very, very interesting development. Well, there are. The collapse of the local reality brought the collapse of Zionism. But unfortunately, folks, Zionism collapsed because it was communism. And everybody has to know that. Israel is not a democracy. It's a fantasy to say so. Everybody here knows it is a communist nation state. It's a police state. And they have made a nation of psychopaths that fear that police state, and everybody obeys. And Israel is going through its very own convulsions. It's moving toward the European Union, which has a very significant predominant mix of communist participants in it, and perhaps it feels itself better suited. But the collapse of the local reality is globally, and the communism of the European Union is going to collapse there as well as it did in Russia on December 25th, 1991, and in 1992 it collapsed in Yugoslavia, and Zionism collapsed here because of Israel's communism. Now let's call a spade a spade. The communism that exists in Israel is ubiquitous, it's broad and deep, it's total. They're absolute control. They've done everything since the day I came here to put me on the back foot. I happen to be the author of what comes after communism. The Zionism and communism's collapse in Israel brings forth the prototypical development and implementation and acculturation of Humanomics' new convergence, East-West convergence model, because both systems have collapsed with the local reality. And in the West, the capitalism is imploding. And all the Bolsheviks have their shoulder to the wheel, and the atheists, and they're as transparent as can be. They're all in America cheering its democracy while they're robbing it blind, and they're running their packs and sucking like parasites the blood of the American system while they push to destroy it. But America is profoundly ignorant and naive, and that's how 9/11 got to matriculate. But having said all of that, let us come to where we are today. Israel is a communist country and system, and it controls everything and everybody. And anybody who stands up to it, as I have, has to pay a very, very, very great price. So let me summarize all of my the perils of respect for morals, ethics, and human dignity have brought the scorn of the system upon me. I've been arrested many, many times, show trials, prosecuted. I've spent, over the past 22 years, I've been arrested, oh gosh, I don't know, 24 or 25 times, I haven't a clue for what, and put in jail once for 86 days, and every time I went to these marvelous courts, I mean, give me a break, folks, talk about Bolshevik Central, lost every time. But when you win, that's when they send you to some other place to waste more of your time. I would say 95% of the psychosocial babble of the country is a bunch of communists putting people on the back foot so that they're under the complete control of the Presidium. And they love their communism in Israel. I mean, they take it real serious. And when that dude collapses, when that piece of crap goes into the pile, and we get to ground zero and we deconstruct it, guess what, folks? The good news is Humanomics East-West Convergence Model. It's central organizing principles: receive it to give. Receiving what? Receiving the authentic you to give the authentic you to you, to your children, your family, and community, your nation, and the world. And that's where we're headed, folks. And the integration of labor is the bonus, the new economic paradigm. And it's been proposed to America, and I haven't a doubt that it'll become national policy. It will be developed, implemented, acculturated, and it will do the job there. Now, getting back to the local reality here, it's collapse. I've spoken in this video. This is the truth. When I came here, they stole my lift in Haifa. They took my entire content of my 9-room house that I shipped here. They stole from my bank account 15,000 shekels. They stole everything, my property, my papers I couldn't prove. They stole my bill of lading. It's, you know, the Shabak. You know, when I was going to go, Gonzalez, when he was the Department of Justice, the head of the Department of Justice, Attorney General. He came to Israel to give a speech. I was going to go to Tel Aviv, and I'm picked up by the police that day, no coincidence, and brought in and threatened. And won't be talking to Gonzalez. Well, Gonzalez is a joke anyway. Here's this short pants president, you know, who Cheney is, President Cheney is running the country. And when I reported what was done in Israel, that there was Isragate, they were trying to steal the intellectual property of the new economic paradigm, they went and they forget it. It was pathetic. They called in what's his name, George Tenet, and then they fired him. And the next thing you know, Cheney dispatched Gonzalez to the Department of Justice to obstruct justice. Full court press. This emboldened the Israelis. The whistleblower, Yehoshua Yaakov ben Abraham, you turkey. You wrote Dick Cheney, the biggest scumbag. Excuse me, the biggest nothing, the biggest thief and ganef in the world, who has the blood of 4,000 young American boys on his hands for getting contracts for Halliburton and enriching $3.5 billion in 2000. Come on, they're a bunch of gangsters and criminals, and they're the only group. Look, the American capitalist system did worse to Yehoshua Yaakov ben Abraham than the Bolshevik Central and the communists who've been spilling my blood for 22 years. Well, at least we can say they have something in common. And the bottom line is what comes after the collapse of both East and West systems. That's the collapse of the local reality, folks. Giving to receive. It's the same in capitalism. It's the same with communism. Both have collapsed, and they converge to the middle. And there's where Humanomics emerges. I'm its author, and its central organizing but receive to give. I thank you for listening, and I have no expectations. I'm in the information business. I'm not in the entertainment business like Christopher Hitchens. Having said that, the process here of fighting battles and going to court is just a complete waste of time. Their purpose is to break my back and to stop me at all costs. So we're all in the hands of heaven. And so I look to the God of the cosmos for all of the help and blessings, and I've had many. Thank you for listening. Shalom.